Good
Uh-oh.
evening, everybody out there. Welcome to Schmoes of the North, the Schmoedown night in Canada. You guys, your eyes are not deceiving you. Yeah, we're actually getting back up to date with doing Schmoedown pay-per-views. Unfortunately, some of the boys, Louis, Soda, couldn't be here tonight, but you guys are not alone here. From hopping in from the Sunday crew of Schmoedown, I am Ryan Payne. To my left, why don't you introduce yourself, my friend?
Hey. Sorry, I seem to be having some audio issues. It's my audio is playing out of my speakers and my headphones at the moment, so a little lost.
Oh, no worries, man. But it's good to have you here with us, honestly. It's going to be fun talking about this pay-per-view. But before we get to our special guest of honor, also to my left corner, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody out in the live chat?
Well, I go by Double D, but my real name is Dan Delansky, hence the Double D. That was my nickname in high school, and hey, it just stuck, so that's my name. And I'm also the numbers guy for Speaking of Schmoedown. Just think of me as the Frank Janish over on Speaking of Schmoedown. Interestingly enough, we went to the same high school in the same year, so
That's a lovely fun fact for everybody out there in the live chat. And so let's get to our special guest, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, seriously, if we can't ignore him here because honestly, he had one hell of a match today. Our special guest from Corruption himself, heavy spoilers for everyone because we are talking about the recent pay-per-view tonight. The winner against his match against Jeff Snyder and going to face JTE for the number one contendership. That is Chance Ellison. Chance, how are you doing, man?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's definitely a pleasure here. Normally, my experience, I mean, is like just go. Let's just not waste time. Let's just get into talking about this. This is possibly right now. We're getting so much. I mean, the singles tournament with so many singles matches are kicking up in high gear. It's literally like Christian. I don't know if he's a mad genius or he's just like he wants to have that belt defended almost every month before the spectacular. But either way, this is so much fun for us, and this pay-per-view was no short of entertaining in my mind, honestly.
yeah, I mean, it was close all the way throughout even with Chance's match, it was like really close. And I thought it was a very smart decision on Jeff's to give you Wizarding World, so that way he didn't have to miss those questions and potentially you were stealing them. Although I will say, I kind of, obviously being on my couch, I kind of had that thought process with the question you missed, where it's like, what was the year that took place in Crimes of Grindelwald? I'm like, well, it's either 47 or 27. I'm thinking the time period with the dresses and stuff. I'm like, it's got to be 20s. So I'm just saying 27, just as my natural process. But obviously, when you missed it, obviously Jeff didn't get it because he's like, 31. And I'm like, okay, this was good. But that was a good strategy on his part. But yeah, obviously you took the win, so that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, every time I see a Fantastic Beast question, I just get upset because like they're the only Wizarding World questions that are going to trip me up because I can't force myself through those movies enough.
I mean, it is a very. I will be honest with when it came with you getting opponent's choice in round 2. It really was like honestly looking at that. From all your matches so far in the Schmoedown, nothing on there in my mind could have scared you to where Jeff could have given you. So him giving you Wizarding World, and from bouncing off of what Dan and the other and everyone else, and right now what we're all going to be saying, yeah, he just wanted to give her something that he probably wouldn't. He did not want in round 2, but going in there, yeah, you pretty much outside that one question, you swept through it. You handled yourself very well. And even round 1, sure, there was no perfect rounds going in, but you maintained a very good competitive competitive match against Snyder to where he wasn't going to be in the lead. Nobody was going to have the edge going on in there. So just right now, going over rounds 1 and 2 in your mind, I mean, you're just like the breakdown of it. I mean, was there any point you were wondering if Snyder was going to try to wiggle his way into your head?
I mean, it's always that possibility with a player like Snyder, but that's how I play. I play ice cold. That's what I do. So it didn't matter. what he was going to do. I just had to, like Shannon just said, I had to stay in my zone, stay in the pocket.
Anybody else got some good some observations from this match? Because I'm gonna be honest here. I was just more. I just love the fact that Snyder choosing to go in without nobody from the Stars representing him. I mean, of course, him not having Roxy nearby. We missed out on some classic back and forth between Roxy and Shannon.
I do wish Roxy would have been there. I do wish Roxy would have been there to watch me beat her boy just in person instead of on the replay. But yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that was actually one match. I was kind of surprised it was digital, though. I was thinking that was going to be one of the matches at Scum and Villainy going to be taped live, right in person. The energy there, especially with the audience. I mean, especially earlier today, we got the Lieberman-McQueen match. That was taped at Scum and Villainy. Seeing how the audience's energy was really helped directing, or really just like, it made the matches much more entertaining and interesting. It really would have been fantastic seeing you, Snyder, right across from each other. But unfortunately, seeing Snyder's his emotions get the best of him, it did kind of feel better if it was digital, though. I mean, it's a 50-50 double-edged sword, honestly.
No, I mean, it would have been fun to play him in the Cantina, but the schedule didn't work out that way. I'd play him in digital. I play in the Cantina. I play him in the parking lot. I don't care. Let's go.
But
and I mean, like, yeah, you were talking like not tons to like observe from this game, because like it's such a close one back and forth. Like there's a tough round 2 for both competitors. They're even after 1. It's a 2-point game going into round 3. The next match is the same thing too. When we start looking at it, like it's 1 point less. It's 1 point less in the second round, and then like JTE hits his 3. But it's just like these matches are so close together, and like if you swap a couple of competitors around, you get a bunch of different victories. Like it's just like at this level, and like when you're facing competitors of that level, you just need to kind of just hope the next question isn't one you're gonna miss too.
But he's literally you've been on an entire roll this season in singles. I mean, obviously, first match you've had a consistent. You've not lost a singles match this year so far, and not going up against JTE. Obviously, you want to keep that momentum going. I mean, you have like Brendan Meyer. You have three counting Jeff. That's 4 wins so far. I mean,
right.
You could almost 3. That 3. Okay, I'm forgetting. I'm almost jumping ahead, maybe thinking, or I'm forgetting a match. But either way, though, yeah, you're on a good winning streak. 3 wins in singles so far. You've showed an incredible performance, obviously, from your team's match with Mike and Corruption. Man. Obviously you've already been said this so many times, but the momentum keeps going and going, that you're constantly improving in your game, especially from last year where so many people were criticizing you that you couldn't hit your 5-pointers. Now you're proving them dead wrong, that not only can you hit 5-pointers, you're actually closing out round 1s, you're sweeping out round 2s. But I would not be shocked by the end of this year you have the singles belt before Spectacular, honestly.
I mean, that's the goal. I mean, it's right now. It's all on me. I know if I win this whole mini bracket and I have a tournament, and that's fine. That's a bet. And if I win this whole bracket and I go to New York and lose the belt, that's it for me. But I'm not counting on doing that. I want to win this bracket. I want to get to that belt. That's the thing that's been my goal since I started this.
Yeah.
And now I'm one match away from taking a shot at it.
I was just quietly observing there that by throwing Collins into this mini tournament with you here, they did really try and throw one more former singles champion at you before you got to finally do it.
Yeah.
And I like just looking at your match history is just. It really sucks sometimes. Like I wouldn't wish that like opponent streak on anyone.
Look, it's been no secret. I have not had it easy especially in singles. Never had it easy in this league. But that's why I'm doing so well right now. Like I've always had to struggle. I've always had to fight. I've always had to just take on the best of the best. And now you're seeing what happens. Like metal sharpens metal. Steel sharpens steel. And so I go in taking all these beatings. You're only making me better.
Exactly. Without doubt, you've not had you're saying yourself, you've not had the easiest road, but you had whatever loss you have, you clearly improve every single time. And without a doubt, and of course, we see here in your match against Snyder, who we've seen in the past, he's always able to at least say something to trip up his opponents, get in his opponents' heads. You do these consistent mind games, but I will say, rewatching the match again, it did feel to me that Snyder's biggest opponent was himself, because you were pretty much a brick wall. You weren't giving him anything, nothing at all. He says a snide comment. Is mainly Christian and Mark responding to him, and you were staying 100% focused in that pocket, showing exactly how much you have become a lethal competitor, and definitely seeing how in round two, he gives you round two pretty much says a lot about Snyder. Yes, he dominated his slice. But the fact that with Wizarding World, he's just like, oh, I didn't know that, or I wasn't supposed to know that. And especially his last two questions in round three, man. Oh my God. I get he got very emotional for that 5-pointer, but even then, it was just kind of. I don't know the words to say it though. I mean, clearly after you were announced the winner, you knew that 5-pointer of.
I did.
Of course, of I Believe, and similar as you, I've seen that trailer so many times. Especially, I can't remember who the artist is, but I always hear that song "I Believe" playing in that little trailer spot. It's almost as if it's an earworm in your head.
I never saw the movie, but I remember like 2-3 solid months. That trailer before, like everything I saw. That was a major release. I wanted a studio behind it. Don't quote me on that, but it did a major release, and on the list that we were all given at the beginning of the season. So like, all you had to do is look at the list. All you had to do is look at it.
I do agree with you there. Oh, you have anything to add? Or you about to say something?
The only thing I was gonna say is like, there is one thing to that of I believe at this point that Jeff knows kind of like, and a lot of competitors do, like when you get a question, you know if you have like the answer, if you have most of an answer, or if you just have no clue. And when you have no clue, you're picking one of any movie ever. And so I do feel that like at that point, like it's tough to like lose on one of those, but also like eventually you're just going to run into one of those movies, and I don't really fault him so much for just like, oh well, I'm not going to get this, because he's been in the movie business long enough to know if this is a question he could get or not. Like there's a difference between an educated guess and just knowing you'll never guess, kind of.
I do. I kind of want to pivot a little second with your round three questions. It really was kind of funny, just the randomness that came in these orders. I mean, you get your 2-pointer question was just, it was I forget the 2-pointer, but it was pretty much kind of like regarding Tom Hanks. Oh no. Your 3-pointer was Tom Hanks. Your 5-pointer was Denzel Washington, and then your 2-pointer was regarding a film Tom Hanks. Yeah. So it was just I don't know what it was, but it's just like it was just one moment where that beautiful madness of the Schmoedown and the round 3 questions just kind of give you this perfect link, like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon with just Tom Hanks. And I will say that 3-pointer though, Saving Private Ryan. I mean, just those 4 actors, man. Like, yeah. And I remember Saving Private Ryan. I'm like, where the hell is Nathan Fillion and Paul Giamatti in that film? Where the hell are those?
If I heard Fillion, I would have got that. I thought he said Nathan Lane, got me thinking. I don't know why. I've heard Nathan Lane twice. I'm like, okay, it's like comedy, probably some comedy I don't give a shit about. I could have said I think you do, guys, but Bryan Cranston is in that movie. But yeah, and I went with Bonfire of the Vanities, which sucked because I do love Saving Private Ryan. Should have had that. That to me is like my most embarrassing miss of maybe ever. Like I think it's my worst miss since I missed Dan Keaton in The Godfather.
I mean, even then, I mean, yeah, I mean, I've seen so many competitors have missed those, but it's clear it's a live and learn situation, and it didn't stifle you because then Jeff even missed his 3-pointer, which I know so many people would think would be easy, but let's be honest. When I say with his 3-pointer with sci-fi fantasy, I barely remember Red Sonja myself, so. When I hear Arnold Schwarzenegger in an epic sword and sorcery film, I'm thinking either Conan the Destroyer or Conan the Barbarian.
Well, that was supposed to be a Conan movie, but they couldn't get the rights to Conan, so they had to make it. They had to make him somebody else, even though he's very clearly supposed to be Conan.
Yeah. But it is nice that Arnold, for that time, he at least got to. I honestly, it did feel to me like even if you do take away the character name and the motivations. You can honestly say Red Sonja is a Conan film, but Brigitte Bill said Jesus. I only know from Rocky IV, and that's it. So
you never saw Red Sonja, did you? You never saw Red Sonja, did you?
It popped up I've seen it popped up on Hulu so many times. I'm like, you know what? I'll watch it later. And then last week I said, you know, I'm finally gonna watch it. Gone. It's gone from Hulu. I missed my opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real bad. It's real bad.
Jesus. My difficulty is if a movie's on Hulu, my first step is to go onto Google and figure out which Canadian streaming service hosts this movie or this show. Or we don't have Hulu up here. Not that they're not That's around. Right, they just aren't for no reason. Like and yeah, like we do business with the company, we just don't have the streaming service for no reason. It's odd. And then yeah, so streaming different things is so like different when you live up in Canada that I noticed the Suicide Squad is a PG-13 movie in Quebec where I'm from. It's just a 13-year-old can walk into the new Suicide Squad movie.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Canada raise no pansy ass. That's funny.
I actually like that. It'd be hilarious. I come across a theater in Canada, or at least here in maybe California, that accidentally says, "Oh, the Suicide Squad's PG-13," and then you bring some kids in there, and they're like, "What is that shark doing to that guy?" No, but I do. But yeah, great win. You're moving on to JTE.
No.
But your faction with corruption, though. I mean, you guys clearly are proving that one, not like last year. People are underestimating you guys, and just like last year, you're telling people to just shut up and watch us. And we clearly see you, Mike, Marisol, Adam, so many. I mean, look, I'm upset that Sean Sullivan's not going to be in the Star Wars tournament because I think he's got something to prove to people. But I can't wait to see Scrimshaw give it a go again. But right now, I do know tournament season right now with Collins, unfortunately, with that loss, corruption is going to they're going to pretty much be that oncoming storm that is going to blow away the Schmoedown. And knowing you are going to face JTE, it does seem to me that you're not only is the storm going to stop, but I feel that you're going to make them regret having them beat Collins.
Oh yeah, I mean, JT beating Collins that's the easy. That was the easy match. Beating Collins is going to be hard. But beating JT, I can do that in my sleep. Not in my sleep. He's good. He had a good run, but he made one mistake at the end of his match. He started talking about New York, which is funny, JT, because you're not even going to get to the show. Your road stops at me, buddy. Your season stops at me.
Honestly, whenever that match airs, I'm pretty sure we're definitely going to see a different side. I mean, it's honestly going to be depending on what JT we're going to get, because in this match against Collins, we did see him put up a very good match, though. I mean, he was ahead for Collins at least for a tiny bit, but like everything, but for like JTE, he ends up slipping to where Collins was able to catch back up, and I do like how JTE, he tries to be cocky and arrogant like the JTE of old, but I'll be honest, he was much nicer when he was talking about in the post interview where he's going, "Who's Collins?" Yeah, you know who he is. You know exactly who he is. Otherwise, you would not have been as arrogant in the third round.
That's fair, but no, yeah, I mean, look, Collins being back in singles tournament, I mean, it sucks. I would have loved to play Adam in the next round, but he is going to rip shit in the tournament. And Peggy, not just that much of a chance, anyways. But you're going down. You're going down, and maybe if you're nice, you can just come over, kiss the ring, and we'll just like pack your bags, and you're right back to the families where you belong.
Well, I hope Peggy's not in the live chat right now.
I hope she is. I hope she's.
I mean, she comes in and out. Like you can find Peggy every now and then.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of talk about that as well. Like now that like we know the result of this match, we know Mike and Collins are gonna be the other two corruption members in the singles.
No, I have to win my next match for Mike to be in.
I didn't actually. I actually thought that eliminated you by this.
No,
point.
it didn't.
My bad.
The only thing that eliminates me is winning my next match.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I could still be in the tournament.
Yeah, so we'll find out next week anyway.
With playing as Paul Walter Hauser, which admittedly would be fun. I'm a fan of the dude. I would love to play him in a match, but the title's so much better. So much better.
And also guaranteeing all of those points for corruption is even better, because
I mean, yeah, if Marisol wins, say I win my next match and Marisol wins the title, like that's 16. It's at least 16 guaranteed points.
Yeah.
Or sorry,
just,
wait, no, my math is off. 14 guaranteed points.
It's 18 actually, because you'll win a number one contenders.
Oh, that's true. So yeah, 16.
The number one contender and the 2 7-point matches. It's a guaranteed 18.
Yeah. Nice. But even
go with your 3. Yeah, I was gonna say, and with your 2 tonight, that would be the 20 points that separate corruption from first place.
Yeah.
Right now, like it's so wild that like with the new system, anybody could, like the Mercs did it at the last main event, and anybody could just rocket up the standings, and we have no idea when it's going to happen.
No, almost anyone. Maybe not the
Stars.
Well,
yeah, you got to win first, obviously.
I mean, it's all about this tournament that's going to determine everything. I mean, you are right. If Marisol does get that belt from Ethan, Chance beats JTE, and I do know Chance. I believe with the Aaron Geekton tournament, you still have a match coming up soon against Moose Haas.
I do, Haas.
Not just with that. So you have an opportunity to gain corruption, like maybe like not just 8. I mean, with the potential 18 of adding Marisol, but if you beat Moose Haas, that can jump in like into 20 point over 20 points. To where you can clearly jump the line over Finstock Exchange and Quirky Mercs to get near first place, honestly.
Yeah, no, when we started this year, we weren't doing so hot, but you said, let's just sit and wait because we're working on stuff. And look, we've done so far. We've gotten in the top 4. Got kicked out of the top 4, but now we're right back in it. Yeah, we got Mike's title match coming up. We got Marisol's title match. I'm still doing this bracket. We got some excellent entrants into the tournament. Excited to see what Adam does. Excited to see what James White, who was confirmed, is doing in the tournament. Either me or Adam, or me or Mike, I should say. Me or Mike are going to do damage in the tournament, no matter which one of us it is. So yeah, we're in a great spot. We're not worried.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of like you and Mike, I mean, also earlier this year, we saw you and Mike not just worked with, but you took out top contender teams everyone was focusing so much on. Everyone thought Dan and Ben Danger Zone was going to go all the way to the championship. You guys proved that in the team's finals. Nope, they were just like this new hot item everyone was focusing on, but you tend to forget about the battle tested team, which was you and Mike. And when we saw in that live in the team titles match, that speed round, I don't know if anybody is at home watching, but the fact that those buzzers came back proves 100% that those buzzer rounds, they literally can change the tide of the match. And going there from what was like a big deficit after the Bane round, clearing it, like dominating that buzzer round, pushing it, Shazam all the way, missing that 5-pointer to sudden death. Yeah, 100% you and Mike have proven that corruption as a team never should be counted out. And it's and you guys are back in the team's tournament, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Just want to be sure.
We put up 50 points and they're gonna bench us? No.
That's actually another thing. Like you have the potential to end JTE's season like you ended Jeff Snyder's season, and no one can say that about you because you're just gonna drop into name the tournament. Singles IG teams. That's
to me the appeal of being a utility player. Like I can do anything. Like you plug me in, I'll play. You plug me in somewhere, I'll play for you. Maybe not Star Wars, not yet, anyways. But I will play for you.
And to answer what Ryan was asking about there, Ben Bateman decided that corruption was going to beat Danger Zone by getting it into his head about like everybody agrees on two things: the 5-point question is the most important, and corruption doesn't miss 5-pointers. Yeah. And so Ben Bateman, he convinced himself he was going to lose that match because he can't figure out why you don't miss questions, and the answer is simply watching movies. But that's a thing.
Wasting 2 repeats in the first round is kind of like a sign of the end coming.
Yeah, I'm just we split that up and we're just like, wow, okay, didn't think you're gonna make it this easy on us, but okay, cool, fantastic, good for you guys.
But it will. I'm not. But even then, focus on the team tournament. But you know what? We've been focused. We've lightly talked on Collins a lot, but this match Colin had against JTE. Yeah, his first match back since losing that championship. Personally, to me, I thought was kind of a little too long. Honestly, I thought Colin should have at least had like a singles match, maybe a month or so after he had won, but. Maybe it was scheduling that was preventing him from preventing Christian from finding an opponent. But it did seem to me that long wait did unfortunately affect Colin's performance, as we did see when he missed a round 1 question because it was just off the tip of his tongue, especially his 3-point question on who voices Sally in Cars, and he clearly knew that, but it was just he had mixed up a different character.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know, Adam. If they had included, if they had like not said Carrera, or if they had said like Lightning McQueen's girlfriend, he gets that no problem. He easily gets it. It's just they phrase it in a way where it escaped him because you're thinking Cruz Ramirez, which even I forgot Sally had a last name because she's just Sally the Porsche. But I mean, it was a rough beat, but as soon as that happened, I was just like, look, I got to get back on this, and I know my weaknesses now, so we're gonna train specifically for these.
And also, what I noticed there was like, and you're kind of right that it was such a long stretch to go between his 2 matches. But he kind of got victimized by like having no losses on his record essentially, while also being pushed down the rankings by losing a championship match. So really, there's everybody going on their little runs to make title paths for themselves. We're just missing him by that one little square that would make them the right like number 2 because he needed to be like a number 2 contender match, right? He he was 2 matches out from a title match, and nobody else was at the time, and everyone else was going down their own roads, and so he just had to sit there with like his great record, watching a bunch of people pass him in the rankings by playing recently.
He had to let that whole pocket play out. Had to let Marisol's pocket play out, and then he just ended up in mine, which sucks. But
yeah,
I do. He should have been in that first pocket. He should have been in a pocket earlier. But it happens. We're glad he got the rust off, and he's not going to make the same mistake in this next match.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest driving factor of like watching Adam Collins last year. Like we know he can walk through a tournament. We know he can play at an unstoppable caliber. And losing a match will both light a fire and also like just get him back on the ropes of playing again. So once we get into that tournament, I can't wait to see what he does there. We seem to have Dan again.
Yeah, my internet sucks in Chicago, and I'm trying to use my phone, and that's not working, and nothing's working.
I know, trust me, as someone who's had so many, as someone who's been on Schmoedown so many times, I've had consistent internet problems, so I definitely sympathize with you, my brother. But but right now we're just talking a little bit about Collins and his performance in this match, or at least trying to get our best ways to break down this match. I mean, since you were out a little bit, any questions you have?
I was actually on the back area for the tournament stuff, so I did hear a little bit, but I'm just waiting for Soda to add me in. But I think maybe he'll wait for a little bit because I'm like,
we all need that bathroom breaks, man. We all need that bathroom breaks.
Do it before the show.
He's busy doing something else as well. Like he actually has something important to do at the moment. I'm just making him run the stream because my internet's not strong enough to do it.
I don't know if I'm gonna last even longer here because it's like my modem is blinking on and off, and I'm like,
then whatever you guys say, bring it in, man, before the internet decides to take you out.
All right, so I mean, I don't even have my notes. Okay, so Collins, I mean, he did really well. I mean, he was basically I've been doing a segment on speaking of Schmoedown that it really doesn't matter what happens in round one as long as you're like just a couple of points ahead. If you're a couple of points ahead or a couple of points down, it doesn't matter. Round two is where it's at because if you can gain a lead or maintain a lead, that's when you're going to notice a big difference. If it's like 2 or 3 points, anything can happen still. But if it's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points, that's when you're going to start noticing when people are going to basically secure the win. So when I saw that Adam Collins and JT was just 2 points away, I'm like, this can go either way still. Even with your match chance, I'm like, yeah, I can still go either way. But statistically speaking, the person who does have the lead generally does win, but it doesn't mean that's a for sure thing at all.
I've had the lead in plenty of matches, but I still lost.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I've even said that you were gonna take bibs, and that 5-pointer got you, and that just broke my heart. I know it broke my heart, but I'm like, I saw it happening. I had the article posted. I'm like, he's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Fuck.
I still consider that my best played singles match because I had every question right until the last one.
Yeah,
the Harvey Keitel, man.
Harvey Keitel. Goddamn national treasure.
Yeah, that's right. I do find it was very interesting for you. I mean, of course, you had opponent's choice, though, but the fact that in both yours and Colin's match, there was an Inner Geekdom Slice add on to there. Obviously, when you guys and Corruption are meeting together to do like study sessions or just strategy sessions or just to hang out, has Collins been like asking like any advice on wanting to handle like any IG slices since you are playing an IG?
Well, I mean, it's kind of it's like a hive mind of Corruption, like because we have an IG champion and another IG player, like we inherently do a lot of IG training, and it's not just me and Mike. It's everybody. Everybody who wants to jump in. So like we all had that like inherent base knowledge. Like even Marisol's got some. So so we realize now like we can weaponize that. We can use those slices in. We can use slices like now. We can use individual slices in singles, not just like the IG conglomerate slice. Now, we can like really weaponize what we're really good at in singles, and then basically just use that to our advantage and the disadvantage of our opponent. If like me, as soon as I found playing Destiny, I'm just like, yeah, Harry Potter's going on the wheel, just because I know how much he doesn't care for geek stuff or Potter in general. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, and he said it like a lot. So I'm just like, okay, I mean, gonna make it easy for me. Let's do it.
Yeah, and go ahead.
I look at it the same as like kind of like a Apollo Yama or an Ethan Irwin, that if like Adam Collins wasn't playing on a faction with two of the best IG competitors out there already, you could easily see him subbing in if like a different faction couldn't put their main guy. Like if you look at like some of the players, like swag is kind of low on Inner Geekdom players at all. So like you could definitely see an Adam Collins slotting in there on some of the lesser IG factions. And to answer the Harry Potter thing, it's the same as putting Star Wars against the Odd Couple. It was just like a thing you knew that was like, not only they were not going to be great at if they spun it, even though they should navigate it. You know, they will probably navigate a number of the questions pretty well.
Which, like,
but it'll just make them angry.
Even they can navigate. It's not just about like them like whiffing the round, which they can do that great. They can whiff the entire slice, fantastic. It's about putting them in a position where they're going to be burning points. Because like they can get an actor, they can get a director, they can maybe get a release here. But you ask me anything plot specific, they're gonna have to burn at least a point.
Yes.
At least 1 point to try and go get something.
Or even a repeat that might help them later on in the next round. So
exactly.
It does help. And it actually does show exactly how well rounded your corruption as a faction is, because you have honestly, not just the four of you there, but also you have backup in Sean Sullivan and Joseph Scrimshaw as Star Wars players. I mean, bringing in, with Mark Edward Hoyk, the man is he's an untapped well of knowledge, especially how well he did in that horror free-for-all. Whenever you got, I've not seen Dewberry play since his match against Video Drew, though. But even then, just the fact that in your entire group, you have this, like you said, it's a hive mind. You guys are sharing knowledge, pulling together to where you just like what you said, you weaponize Inner Geekdom to where it helped give it, even though Adam, he did slip in third round, you guys still had the edges in round 2 to going into that third round. So you maintained in that 2 to 3 point differential to where you were able to get your win. Sure, Adam may have slipped, but even looking at it, if he had nailed that 3-pointer, it would have most likely would have been his, or like with JT, maybe we would have gotten sudden death between him and JTE. But even then, with this season, we are seeing Inner Geekdom slices are becoming like the extra, pretty much the ace up the sleeve, honestly, for every player. You either know it, you don't, or plot-specific questions will be thrown in there, which will throw you off completely.
No, exactly, and like that's what we take advantage. We take advantage of that, especially because all these franchises we are like genuine fans of. So, like plot-based questions, except for Fantastic Beasts, because screw those films, will hit with pretty good accuracy. It's when we get to like the like super nitty-gritty, like oof, damn, yeah, that's tough. But like if something's tough for us, it's gonna be way harder for our opponent.
And actually, that reminded me of the Inner Geekdom slice you guys spun in your championship match.
Yeah.
And when that happened, I didn't even realize the Inner Geekdom slice was still a thing in this season. Because they were adding all of the slices individually. I didn't know there was a mixed bag and an IG mixed bag.
That's the thing. Like we looked at, we're just like, huh. We want to do at least one geek slash. We're just like, huh. I wonder if we could do an inner geek to mixed bag. There's no rule against it. It was like, can we throw that on? It's like, yeah, of course you can.
I mean,
that is wild.
No, I think that is a good point to bring up, especially if it's. I mean, of course, you can do specific inner geeking categories like we just saw with Middle Earth and Wizarding World, but yeah, inner geekdom as a whole slice, you can kind of stretch the limits there to say maybe make it mixed bag, or if it's inner geekdom, maybe it's inner geekdom composers or inner geekdom director, maybe inner geekdom movie release dates. You can almost stretch it to where you can throw people off and really. Honestly, make it like that. Make it your trick card going up against someone like maybe Liz Shamil, like David Del Rio, or against some of the rookies like Ty Lieberman, or going against Barbarian. Even though he plays in singles and geek, something like that can be something to trip somebody up to where they're second guessing themselves, to where they are burning points or wasting repeats.
Damn, I forgot Bab was still a thing. Thanks for the reminder.
I was thinking heroes and villains would be quite a flex if that's still a slice.
Yeah,
just like, what even is heroes and villains?
Yeah, I've seen those questions get really hard. I'm like, that's I don't know one specific, but some of them it's like it has Kyle Ren in the question, but it has nothing to do with Kyle Ren. So I'm like, really? That's a question? I'm just saying as an example. So
they can get nasty. They can get nasty. That's what we're counting on.
And actually, kind of going back to like a comment before, is that based on what I've seen from the statistics with the round 1 and round 2 statistics, it seems like whenever you are burning those questions, it gives you it does give the competitor or the opposition to catch up, and that's what really is starting. That's what really solidifies on the person who's leading losing the match, is when you're burning through those multiple choice options and usually the repeats, and you haven't the opportunity of catching up. That's when really it shows that this guy really shows when they're going to win or lose.
Exactly. I mean, it's not about you can be down. You can be down a lot.
Yeah.
Shit, not like I fought back from a 9-point deficit.
Yeah,
like we were on the verge of getting knocked out, but you gotta stay in it. That's what you gotta do.
Well, the championships are a little bit different because you obviously have much more points.
More wiggle room, but even if you're down by even if you're down by say like 8 or 9 in a 3-rounder match, you still got to go for it, because on the very, very slim chance that your opponent just whiffs everything they get, which can happen.
Yeah,
it can very well happen.
We've seen it happen plenty of times.
I think we've seen I call them reverse TKOs, and I think we've seen 2 or 3 of them, and they've only happened in the last season or 2. But because like you do see such a high caliber of competitor nowadays, you should be expecting anyone to hit the 10 points in the 3rd round. And then to watch it go back the other way, a 1-point lead isn't safe if you're going to miss the 3 questions in the 3rd round.
Exactly.
Like nothing works. I said that wrong. I meant a 9-point lead, not a 1-point lead, obviously.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that comes to mind is the Brother Loomis and Frankie Alvarez match, where Brother Loomis was leading, and he had a severe lead, but he just flopped in the 3rd round. But Frankie Alvarez was able to get all 3 of those questions, and obviously that's what got him the win.
Yeah, he really is robot.
Yeah. All right, but but guys, any final thoughts you guys will have here on these matches? Look, it's obvious the performances. I mean, this is really fresh, honestly. I'm gonna rewatch this pay-per-view most likely again tomorrow, because there's just not only because it's fun, but because I just want to. But Dan, I know so far you're holding out on us strong. So any final thoughts you got, or any summations?
Well, I'll just say that it is nice to see that you don't have to play perfect every single match. That not everyone was perfect, but they were still tied, so it kept it interesting through the whole way through. And obviously, I mean, I would say that obviously those questions in the final round are definitely crucial. So you can't just sleep on them. You have to study your hardest, and obviously that's what wins you championships in the long run. Because if you're down just a few points, that could change the tide.
You are definitely 100% correct, because what we've seen so far this season, a lot of championships have changed because, of course, most of the time we've seen people go perfect, but every now and then all it takes is just one question, maybe just a 1 point differential, or one big amazing comeback to turn the tide. And I will not be shocked by this. By the time we get spectacular, we'll see belts change once again. I'm definitely looking forward coming up seeing Mike finally, hopefully, get a defense when he goes up against Chandru. So believe me when I say that is going to be my most highly anticipated match coming at the end of this month.
Just to kind of plug my own little thing that I've been doing this week, I started a TikTok, and I think it was Monday that I posted a video of what I thought Mike's reaction to Chandru's comments, and it's just me with a lightsaber with Peter Griffin. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
I just want to shoot. I just want to shoot.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that at the end of next week.
Of course, I can hear that in Mike's voice too. It's just I just want to talk to him. I'm just like, oh no, you never want to hear those words from Mike Kalinowski, I'm sure. And what I was going to mention at the end there was we are like closing in on this match with JTE, and you've not really run into JTE very often.
No, he ran for the hills since he saw me.
Yeah, and well, actually, I was gonna even mention like the league he played in is very different from the one you played in. Each other's game tape is not inconclusive, I would say, even.
No, I mean he got brought up in a different era than I did, but I came up in the new era. I came up in the now era. So I'm the player the Schmoedown now creates. He is the player the Schmoedown used to create.
But I think also it shows that you've become very adaptable to the Schmoedown, because when you came in, the Schmoedown went through like 3 different changes. Honestly, I mean, at first they were upping their level of questions to make it more challenging, and then came factions and then of course was the digital setting to where everyone had to adjust. And even then, when the questions were still like almost at a pretty much like a control alt delete reset, you still were showing yourself as a very top player, even though, yeah, sure, you were getting the who starred in this, who directed in this, but you didn't let that stop you from continuing to study the more increasing number of categories that was coming in. And especially with many players who are trying to play in so many different divisions, trying to become like double belted, or hell, trying to become the first players to be triple belted, you have shown without a doubt that your adaptability in the Schmoedown has not changed, and is definitely never wavered. It's most likely it's definitely improved. Like you said, you become steel, you become like a diamond in this league, to where, like I already said before, will not be shocked by time Spectacular comes around, you are singles champion. And depending on what happens with Moose in that match, you could most likely definitely become Inner Geek. You could challenge for that Inner Geekdom championship, and we could see pretty much a rematch between. I'm doing so much foreseeing in the future right now. I'm not focusing on it now. I'm seeing
my final question for you would just be, what's the most amount of matches at Spectacular you want to be in?
Most I want to be in?
Yeah.
3.
3? Okay, so not an exhibition on the side.
I mean, I'll play the whole event. Make it the chance tag. I'll play the whole event.
Exactly.
Do we lose chance?
I think we just lost.
I'm not
Did
sure
the
if we
airborne
lost
just
him.
decide to attack Chance and not you, Dan?
I swear to God, I did not touch a thing. My hand is over here.
No, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying like it's the internet before. But oh my God. Hopefully we'll get Chance back before we wrap up. If not, I mean, look, this pay-per-view showed like double corrupt. Okay, Chance, Soda, if you were there, brother, please bring me back in. We do want to wrap this up here, but while we're waiting on Chance to be brought back in here, just seeing with corruption, double events here. Honestly, Collins in the tournament now. He's gonna. We already know who he's gonna go up against, but even then, will this be the Collins of last year, or are we gonna get like Collins is just gonna be once again a rabid animal, just mowing down every opponent in front of him?
I don't know. I mean, I would think that he's kind of as hungry now that he's experienced a real loss. He not only lost the singles belt, but he lost number one contender shot. I think he's going to be hungry like a Dan Murrell losing a belt. I think he's going to be wanting to redeem himself from it. But to kind of play devil's advocate of what you were saying, Chance, is like, I'm not going to sleep on JT because at the beginning of the season, I'm thinking I had the same thoughts. Like, he's not going to survive this league. It's completely evolved from when he left, but he's adapted as well. He's shown time and time again he's not sleeping. He's put in the work. He missed only 2 questions in round 1. He was perfect in round 2 in this last match, and he got all 3 of his questions in round 3. So, I mean, he just missed 2 questions for this whole match. So, I mean, I'm not saying that you can't do it. I'm just saying that you can't sleep on him, and I don't think you're foolish enough to not sleep on him.
I don't sleep on anybody. Nobody. Doesn't matter who I'm facing. I'm taking you serious. I'll take anybody. I'll take you serious. I'd take Dan Murrell in a match. At the end of the day, you're gonna go down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be.
I mean, you have beaten Dan Murrell like twice in teams, so it is proven
4
that
times. 4 times.
Okay. Oh yeah, the championships. Yeah, that's right. You did take the belt.
I have more wins against Dan Murrell than anybody in history.
Oh, you just got schooled, man.
Oh, hey, I'm not holding against it. I'm not going to try to bring up. He knows more about his matches than I do, so I'm okay with that.
I once argued on the show that like there can be an argument, and at the time there could be a bigger argument between Rachel and Dan and who is the greatest of all time, but I can stand firm saying one of the best of all time, and possibly once we get to the end of this, you might be looked at as one of the greatest players this game has seen, because you're, again, triple division, like, never mind just succeeding in 3 divisions. You succeed at the highest level in 3 divisions. And this is just the last one that you really need to get into that championship match and do some damage. And I'm really looking forward to that one.
That's the goal. I mean, this year to me was all about the singles belt. It's the only thing I haven't played for that I really want. So, yeah, anything I got to do to get there, I'll take it.
Well, definitely looking forward to when your match against JTE airs, so we can finally see. I mean, whatever happens with Ethan and Marisol, we definitely know that it's either going to be you or JTE they're going to have to face. And if it is you, then it's obvious that your story to the singles belt is far from over. And it's going to – I kind of hope it's going to be a live event too, that if you win, it's at a live event. I really hope for that, because – I'm doing my future booking again, and I'm already seeing like a full packed live crowd here. But it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to be back live again. I mean, New York will be our first major live event since shutdown, so to be able to headline that'd be great.
Spectacular, yeah.
Since
for me it was spectacular. I was at spectacular,
right? But we did,
And just the bonus of double headlining it when you're standing across from Marisol.
That would be, make it the Corruption Invitation.
I mean, there's been enough of them. We're gonna need. I don't know how do you get T-shirts? How did Koi get a cool T-shirt?
No, it's just easy. Let's just get Marisol and Chance to the big dance for the bell, and then it'll no longer be the movie trivia Schmoedown. It'll just be the corruption trivia Schmoedown league.
Oh,
Yeah.
And that's where you get your
perfect.
shirts.
There we go.
Yeah.
Although people might get confused and think it's only inner geekdom at that point.
Who knows? I mean, it would not shock me. But Chance, thank you so much for really having the time to come on here and just talk with us. Even if we didn't do a lot of breakdown for the match, we're just glad to have you on here. Dan and Daniel, honestly, great to have you guys here as well. It would have honestly, Lou, Soda, all you Schmoedown, you Northers out there. Hopefully, I did a good job here. If not, trust me, you can just keep me away from here like you normally do. But other than that,
What we definitely want you
I'm trying to
around.
do self-deprecating humor here, just to be like, yeah, I'm not on your guys' level yet. No, I'm trying to do self-deprecating humor. Clearly, I'm not good at it. But either way, hopefully all of you at home enjoyed watching us. If not on live rewatch, just comment on below, like the video, subscribe to Schmoes of the North. Since we're going out here, Chance, especially even though people can find you on Movie Trivia Schmoedown, is there anything that you have like on social media or just anything of your own that you want to promote?
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, Chance _91. Check out Notorious by Chance, the podcast. My co-host Russell. We're currently working on our Big Trouble in Little China episode. We're doing that for the 35th anniversary. No, wait. Yeah, 35th. That's right. 35th anniversary for that. And if you check out the Notorious by Chance YouTube channel, you can watch the stream I did yesterday, which we did the top 5 best female performances in the 2010s. I was on it. Serena Ramirez was on it. Marisol McKee was on it. So were Jen Kemp and Paige Fabretti. It was a really great show. I'm really proud of the way that one turned out. So go check that out. And yeah, that's about it.
Dan from Schmoes of the. Oh my God, I'm already forgetting how to say. Yeah, speaking of Schmoedown, wow.
Okay.
Anything else you have going on other than speaking of Schmoedown?
Well, you can find me at Twitter at Dan Dolinsky. It's simple as that. You can also find me on TikTok. I'm a brand new account, and I just have hit over 200 followers from that. And I literally went viral like 2 weeks ago. I have almost 100,000 views with one video where
Jesus.
I'm a tree that pays taxes basically because I'm 6'7". So go check that out. It's a hilarious video.
Oh my God, Daniel, brother, where can everyone find you? Anything you have coming up soon?
I mean, you can find me taking a master class from this guy over here who just like walked backwards into 100,000 views. What?
Yeah.
No, you can find me on Twitter at Avengers_SOTN. That's Avengers with a Canadian little EH flourish, and then Schmoes of the North, SOTN. And you can find me wherever you find Schmoedown things, and all over this channel. You mentioned that we don't like having you around, but honestly, I generally sleep through this show and only came on because it was corruption. But no, I kid as well. Obviously, I'm not better than anyone else. Corruption is.
Yeah. I joke. I'm trying to master dry humor, and I'm terrible at it. You can say I'm pretty much Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen in Attack of the Clones, where it's nothing but wooded and dry. So, and nobody's getting it. But going on, while we close out, anyone, of course, you can definitely, guys, follow me on Twitter, Caramel_Payne. You can also find me on Facebook, Ryan Payne. And then also on YouTube, Schmoes of the North channel, along with Daniel as well. My channel, my show, Mount Schmoedown, we're on every Saturday. Myself and my co-hosts, looks like we lost Dan. But as I'm saying, Mount Schmoedown, my co-hosts, Ben and John, we spend our Saturdays talking about Schmoedown players of the past and present. We do a breakdown of their careers. We talk about their legacy and pretty much their future in the Schmoedown, most likely what makes them great. this entire month and in January and in July, we've been talking about Schmoedown factions. So this upcoming Saturday, myself and Ben and some special guests, we're going to be talking about the Den. You should check out the previous episodes where they talked about corruption, and they definitely, because we had Daniel on there, if I believe.
Yeah. I
Yes.
was about to jump in and mention that. That was so much fun to just sit down and talk about corruption and like the team, the faction. It's it's revolving door of managers throughout the years. Like it's almost synonymous with Schmoedown at this point. And if it keeps running, it's gonna be more than half of Schmoedown's existence will be the age of corruption.
I will not. Yeah, true. Because right now we're in season 8, season 9 next year. Factions are still going to be continuing.
So if you count from Anarchy, where like corruption becomes the big thing, that's like 5, 6, 7, 8. Like, we're coming on a lot of seasons.
Honestly, it is insane. But yes, tomorrow, myself, Ben, and special guest, we're going to be talking about the Den. Hopefully, you guys can tune in with us. I think 1:30 Pacific time, 4:30 Eastern time. And then also, other than talking Schmoedown, I have a wrestling podcast. It's currently on break right now, but hopefully, but I have a wrestling podcast with my friend and current first-class league competitor, the Sinister One himself, James Shimo. It is called the Wrestling Rambles and Rages podcast. Like I said, it's on a break, but just check it out. But go on to if you have Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Podbean, just find our channel, check out our previous episodes, and maybe just give us a follow, and then you'll be linked, and then you'll get news and updates when we start putting out new episodes. Until then.
And if you're really jonesing, you can head over to our wrestling show that Soda hosts with Dustin Dubnik, the Squared Circle, also available on Schmoes of the North.
Yes, I was on.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Of course, Soda had to show up on that. But you know what? That's fine. I was on a previous episode of theirs talking about the invasion storyline angle. If you guys are wrestling fans, you understand it. If not, just check out an episode of the Squared Circle and, really just enjoy some wrestling fans talking about wrestling. Until then, signing off for Dan and Daniel and for our special guest Chance. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Have yourself a great night.